All right. Saudi Arabia, by the way, has already said it's going to go ahead with this investment conference, 140 attendees, maybe more. But some big names have dropped out, including J.P. Morgan, Chase, and BlackRock, and Blockbuster, or Blackstone, I should say. Imagine it, Blockbuster. MasterCard, Richard Branson, a host of others. Let's get the read from the former UBS America's Chairman and CEO. Better for us, a Fox News contributor, Robert Wolf. Robert, good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me on.
This is on, conference still on. What do you think?
Listen, I think it's a really tough call, but I'm not surprised that the U.S. CEOs have decided to pass. If you listen,
not all of them, but a good many.
Well, you know,
those financial ones. You're right.
Uber, Viacom, Ford, plus the three largest U.S. Financial services CEOs at this point, and I think more to come. If you looked at what was said over the weekend, you heard Senators Rubio, Flake, and Graham talk about if President Trump doesn't do something, then it's highly likely there will be veto-proof sanctions that will incorporate what we had on.
Do you think any of them
spending.
are jumping the gun when we still don't know for sure what happened here?
I think there's always let's find the facts, and there's always a jumping the gun. And the reason there's a jumping the gun is next week people have to make a decision. Do I go or do I stay?
Yeah.
I actually think these CEOs are making the right decision because not going to a conference, they can rectify post to the conference. Going to a conference when you know that this is a possibility to be accurate, do we know whether their people are going to the conference or just the big name CEOs aren't going? Well, we know a lot of the speakers aren't going.
Okay.
I think what also came over the weekend is this threat of retaliation by some of those in Saudi Arabia, i.e., hey, we can spike oil to 400, or if you're not coming, we may actually not allow you to do business here. This is starting to get out of hand. I think that we have to find the facts, but
so
I
don't count out of that.
You don't count out of that, but you don't take the risks of going, okay, without knowing where the facts end up.
All right, but you don't take the risk either. The president seems to be saying of meting out punishment when you don't know where that could lead or whether it leads the Saudis to get closer to Russia or China or whatever.
Three different lanes. What the president does, he's sending Secretary Pompeo there. They'll come to a decision what's right or wrong for the U.S. The Senate has to be that independent check and balance. This may be the first time all year they've been that independent check and balance. And then I think a corporate CEO, you have to look at your shareholders. You want to be the employer of choice. You have a different opinion and discussion being taken, and they're not all the same. So it's not surprising to me that a public company CEO has decided to say, hey, let's wait, let's play it out, and let's see where it goes.
You know what's odd about that position? I know you're in the Democratic community and a prominent Democrat at that, a good friend of Barack Obama. Did you hold that same standard to the overtures he made to Iran?
So it's interesting. I was supportive of the Iran sanctions, mainly because when you get the P1 plus 5 to work together, when you get China, Russia, okay, the UK, obviously France and Germany and us all working together, then there has to be something concrete to that. Did I think it went as far as we would have liked to have gone? No. The other thing is I also realized by being at UBS, when I was running it, we were in 27 countries, bilateral sanctions, okay, are not that strong.
But in other words, we opened up a deal, whatever you think of that agreement, and you could argue Iran is a pretty bad global player, right?
No question about it.
You're being rightly tough, maybe in this case with Saudi Arabia, if they're behind this killing or disappearance, but it seems like a double standard.
No, I was supportive of sanctions. There are not sanctions on here.
You were supportive of ultimately the deal that was scored by Barack Obama.
I thought it was the best deal to actually stop nuclear proliferation for safety.
Looking the other way at some of the other stuff.
No, because when UBS, if there was a country blacklisted by the U.S., we had to abide by that law.
No, I absolutely see what you're saying. I'm not trying to be. I'm just saying, is there an inconsistency among liberals and others who chastise this and pussyfooting around?
No,
when in fact they did that and then some.
First of all, when you're running a public company, it is not Democrat or Republican.
You're right.
The toughest decision I had to make was I approved mountaintop removal, and financing, because at that point the EPA was approving it. Although I believed it was terrible, how can I be more onerous than the EPA? So at the end of the day, it's not Republican or Democrat. You actually have to take a stance for the public sector, and I think at the end of the day, these CEOs did the right thing.
Real quickly, your thought on the markets? Are we out of the woods, or are we gonna get back in there?
I'm much more nervous than I think most people. I look at it, listen, rising rate environment, possibility of higher oil. There's no question core inflation seems to be moving up slowly. Still a protectionist environment with China, and a deficit that we have no idea how we're going to resolve. And I know everyone's excited about GDP, and believe me, I want the government, to get out of our way too, and I want the economy to do great. But the fiscal deficit has increased 1.5%. GDP has increased 1.5%. I'm not surprised those have increased the same amount. Now let's see what happens when you don't have taxes 2.0. You don't have literally, what I would say, an environment that's probably as rosy as we've seen. And then you have rising rates. So I'm very nervous into 2019.
And I think you pointed out a lot of people can put their money in a muni bond, 4%, 5%,
4% to 6% after tax equivalent.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Are we
nervous.
at that inflection temptation point?
I think right now, from here to the next 60 days, we're going to have incredible volatility. Start with November 6th. There is no question if the House turns to the Dems, and we have a split regulatory and public policy environment, then it is going to be probably at an impasse for the next year going into 2020.
Wall Street typically likes impasses.
I know people say that. Yeah. Actually, I think Wall Street likes a little more certainty. Okay, and I think they can trade off certainty. So if you tell me the Fed's only going to increase 2 times in the next 6 months instead of 4, I can work with that.
Interesting. Okay. Robert, well, thank you very, very much.
Thanks for having me on.